Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Check out my other channels, my backup streaming channel, Good Free Photos, and also my Crypto Daily Update channel. Also, please join my Twitter. Those are actually all in the comments and in the description. More in the description. So let's actually get on to the news for the recap of the live stream. So right now, Cardano has actually issued some dates. That's very surprising because Cardano doesn't issue many dates at all. What they said is next week will actually be the launch of their final dataless version. I know since the last dataless wallet, things have been working pretty well for dataless, but they've made some more significant improvements, and they're going to launch a final dataless wallet next week. That is obviously in preparation for the Haskell testnet. By the way, they've already started making preparations for the Haskell testnet. It's going to be an internal alpha net first, and they've already started inviting family, friends, and major holders for Cardano to participate in it. After that, they will announce the hybrid testnet, and after the hybrid testnet, they'll actually launch Shelly proper. Charles on his AMA actually really sounded like he was targeting. Charles on his AMA really sounded like he was targeting June, and I think it's going to work really well because they are probably going to launch in June. The second thing is good for XRP and bad for XRP. XRP is the most used coin at eToro, not at Coinbase or Binance or any of the exchanges, but eToro. However, the XRP Army is deserting. They've lost 63% of their community on Telegram. Their Twitter tweets are way down, and so is everything else. There's much less of those like IMF, BIS, 589 tweets. You can only carry on that BS for so long before like nothing happens, and then you have to kind of like people just kind of lose interest because they realize, hey, all that BS they made up, they just completely made up fake stuff, and it's not happening right now. So they actually have left. There have been a couple of noticeable departures, but realistically, that doesn't really matter. I think XRP's investment outlook looks the exact same for me because I never really believed in the IMF, BIS, and all that other like world domination, the standard or whatever. But this is actually really good news for XRP because without those fools actually around, there can actually be intelligent discussion about XRP and actually what it's actually going to do, like being a intermediate currency or being a bridge currency for the smaller corridors, which is what it was built to do originally. Like all the hype about like the standard or reserve, that's finally dying down because people are realizing after a couple of years that isn't happening. But there's still a lot of good use outside of XRP, outside of all that hype. So the XRP Army is deserting. But the XRP Army, I think, was hurting the coin eventually anyways. So I'm glad that they're deserting. And I think that's actually good for real investors of XRP that didn't really believe all that hype nonsense stuff that never happened. So actually pretty good news for XRP that the Army is actually deserting, and you're left with people who actually really want to talk about like the true value of XRP, not the world domination fantasy. So the other thing is Tyler Winklevoss is taking on Mark Cuban in social media about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Mark Cuban is obviously very critical. He actually brings up a good point, is that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are confusing. Most people will not be able to understand them, and therefore, because they're not actually able to understand them, they won't actually buy them or use them. Now, that might sound petty, but it's actually true. People don't tend to buy things that they don't really understand or they're just suspicious of. So that he actually does bring up a good point, but I'm behind Tyler. I think Bitcoin people will eventually understand it, especially the younger generation in the digital age. The transition might take a long time, and I do think Bitcoin's still going to be number one once crypto is really mainstream because it has such high dominance right now. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.